I don't know what they feeling, I don't know what they thinking. Bro, my soul's invincible like Mario when he blanket.
Dude, what's good, YouTube? Back at it again. We're in the car with it. I don't know, I kind of like these videos in the car. They're comfortable. I don't know, it's a cool little setting, you know, sitting in the car chilling. Feel like you're in the car with me, even though you're outside of the car and I'm in the car and you're not with me because you're watching a pre-recorded video of me. Does that matter? No. But this is Unfiltered Thoughts episode 12, bro. 12. Wild. We're on episode 12. This week has been very convicting for me and also like eye-opening. And the first I would say is, I've talked to you about these vaping and nicotine and all of that stuff, right? But I, you know, in my human nature, you know, I try to justify a way for me to still do nicotine without vaping. So I switched to Zens, which are it's like a pouch you can put in your mouth that gives you nicotine. And then switching to those, you know, it was still like, yeah, I'm not smoking. So technically, yeah, I'm doing what I said because I'm not smoking nicotine, but I found another way to get it in. It's like, in your mind, you can, if you want something bad enough, you can find any reason and any way to justify why you should have it. I was reading one day, in Job 36, verse 21, it says, "Beware of turning to evil, which you seem to prefer to affliction." And when I read that, I really had to think like, beware of turning to evil, which you seem to prefer to affliction. So why do I turn to nicotine? Because I feel afflicted. I feel like I'm going through a lot, and the nicotine calms that down. And it's like, in that sense, I am turning to evil because I'm literally going to nicotine to calm myself, to calm the affliction that I'm going through. And maybe I'm going through that to teach me something, right? But if I'm always trying to escape or numb what I'm feeling, how can I ever learn? Because I'm always trying to numb it or suppress it because I don't want to feel, right? It's a common thing that's been in my life that I've struggled with, is trying to numb things that I feel. And after I read that, I'm not gonna lie, I threw out my pack of Zen pouches. I threw it completely out. And I haven't touched one since. I'm thankful for that. But it also has made me like now again, when I don't have any vice or anything to hang on to, like, it's like I gotta feel these feelings, like emotions, and it's like, you know? Like, I don't know about y'all, but for me, like, growing up, I thought like being emotional was soft. Showing emotion was soft. So like, and when I say soft, I mean like weakness. So sharing my emotions, elaborating on how something makes me feel, like, that is all not my strong suit. And even just going through the like negative emotions or emotions I don't like I usually try to just like brush it off to the side, like, it'll go away, but it really doesn't, right? And in this season that I'm in, I've been humbled so much. I've been humbled like to degrees I've never been humbled before. And it's been changing me, you know, to a certain extent, but it's also been hard and it hurts, you know. It's like been a hurting humbling, right? So let's say before I lost my job, I was a corporate exec. Like, I was in the corporate, I had my own office, I was big time guy. And to me, in my head, and at least what I thought I felt, was like, someone said, what do you do for work? Oh yeah, I just work a corporate job, whatever, you know. And I wouldn't really talk about like, I had this nice office, fancy office or whatever, but right in my heart, I started to identify with it and find myself in it, right? And I found value in it. Versus now, when people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, man, I'm looking for a job. I've been looking for a job for X amount of months. And it's like, now I kind of, there's a hesitation in my voice because I have to be like, thing. I don't have a job, and it sucks, and it's not the position I want to be in. But now, being asked the same question before, I felt like a boost, like, oh yeah, I work in corporate, like inside. I didn't show that, right? But that's how my heart felt. And now it's like, head down, I'm looking for a job, and that's me being literally humbled. I'm being humbled, dog, like for real deal humbled. And it ain't been no joke, bro, but it's good, because without this I wouldn't be aware of that. And now I know, no matter what position I'm in or what level of status, like, that doesn't make a person. And instead of finding that value in the position I held, now I'm learning to find that value in God and who God sees me as, because all those other things it's vanity, it's vain, it's building my house on the sand, right? Jesus says the wise man will build his house on the rock, which is a firm foundation. The fool will build it on the sand. So even though I didn't realize at the moment, I was building my house on the sand, which was my position and title as a job, as a career path, right? And that was foolish, because guess what? That fast it was gone, and that's what I learned. And now that I'm waiting on God to like open something, like I'm like, God, okay, we've been waiting. It's approaching 6 months. And I'm like, God, I've been waiting, I've been applying, I've been trying all these different things, and it's not opening. And I'm just like, bruh, am I doing something wrong? Am I not listening? Am I messing up? Or maybe he's just trying to tell me to wait, And it's like, really, I just don't want to wait. I'm like, hey, God, can we hurry this up? I learned. You know what I mean? But God's plan is better than mine. He knows better than me, right? And that brings me to this other verse. It's same chapter, Job 36:22. This is going to be verses 22 to 26. It says, God is exalted in his power. Who is a teacher like him? Who has prescribed his ways for him, or said to him, you have done wrong? Remember to extol his work, which people have praised in song. All humanity has seen it. Mortals gaze on it from afar. How great is God, beyond our understanding. The number of his years is past finding out. Right? And as I read that again in Job 36, it's like, I'm asking God, like, God do this, God do that, God do this. Like, can we hurry this up? But it's like, God is so much bigger than me. He is so far above me. Who am I to even say that? To even be like, God, you're not moving fast enough. Like, let's hurry this up. Let's do what I want. Like, God is far above anything I can imagine. It was just foolish of me, right? To be so selfish, to be so focused on myself, and then to really think that, like, I know better than God. Because I don't, bro. Like, I don't. And even though it's uncomfortable for me to go through what I'm going through, it's where he's placed me. It's where he's positioned me at. And I cannot question that, right? Because I don't know. I can't tell you how many stars are in the sky, right? I can't. I'm so limited in my ability and my knowledge, but God isn't, right? God is so much above me. So who am I to question him, right? And for a little bit, I was questioning him and just being like, God, like, why are we going through this? Like, now this event, and it's like, now this, like, God, are you serious? Like, is this a joke, or like, is this really just life right now, And that was totally the wrong posture, and I needed to repent for that and humble myself. Even though there is adversity and I'm going through a difficult time, there's a purpose in it. And if I don't focus on me, but focus on God, I can see that it could ultimately be used to glorify him. in some way, shape, or manner, right? And this Wednesday, I kind of sit in. I guess sometimes I help also, but I really just sit and observe and listen. There's a youth Bible study at my church, Green Valley Baptist Church. Also, if you are grade 6 to 12th grade, come every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Come to the Bible study. It's actually been beneficial for me, and I'm 24 years old, right? And I'm just one of the student small group leaders, just helping. But we've read through the book of Philippians, right? And first Philippians 1, and Paul is talking about how him being in prison is a good thing because he's giving the guards the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it's like Paul is locked up in jail, like he's chained to the prison guard. They're chained. His ankles are chained to each other. Paul cannot escape him. But instead of being like, dang, God, you allowed me to go to jail. You put me in jail. Now I'm sitting here stuck in jail. I'm not outside. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. This not happening. This not happening. This not. Paul says, for it is a joyous thing because he's able to go out and preach the gospel to the people in the prison. Right? He is grateful to be able to tell the people in the prison about Jesus. So he's not focusing on all these things he can't do, right? And let me give you the exact verse so I can really hammer this in, right? But verse 12 and 13 of Philippians 1, it says, I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel, so that it has become known throughout the whole imperial guard and to all the rest that my imprisonment is for Christ. Right? So he's looking at himself being in jail as a good thing because he's advancing the gospel. And him being in imprisonment is not a bad thing because he's in there for Christ to spread the message of Christ. And then as I was hearing that and we're reading it, and it's just in my head is like, how am I looking at my life situations? Do I look at them in a sense of, oh, woe is me? Or am I like, reveal to me how you can use this to advance your kingdom, to advance your gospel, to, like, those two are two different perspectives, and they're all a choice that I make here, right? It all starts here in what seeds I allow to stay and become soaked and absorbed in, right? Because there's many things I could sit and complain about and argue about and cry about and whine about every day, all day. But doing that does nothing, and if there's one thing I've learned in my short life, because I'm not that old, right? And I'm also not perfect. I'm not infallible. I'm a human, as you're a human. I make mistakes. I have struggles. But one thing I learned is all things God can use to glorify himself. Anything I've gone through, like the most craziest things I've gone through are hard times, hardships. I've been able to speak life into someone, use it to tell someone else about Jesus, the hard stuff that I had to go through, the pain sometimes. And when I was going through it, it never felt good. It was never like, oh, this is awesome. But to see someone have that hope in Jesus, when I'm able to use that to point them to Jesus, is a blessing, and that's a gift. And focusing on that aspect is like, it's just everything. And that's something that I'm trying to do now, and as well as just embrace what I feel, but not become consumed by it or allow it to dictate how I move, because my whole life I've tried to numb my feelings. I've tried to hide my feelings. I tried to protect and guard myself, so I have walls up. And I want to be able to show people the love of God, but I can't do that with walls up, I can't. And there's just a final verse I want to leave y'all with. It is Psalm 27:14. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. So just remember, y'all, be strong and let your heart take courage. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what type of season you're in life, and it could be beating you down, but guess what? Let your heart take courage. Take courage in God, right? Let your heart take courage in His promises and what you've seen Him do in your life in the past, right? If you know God has done this, this, and this in the past, then you know He's going to get you through, right? Remind yourself that. Maybe write it down. Do something to keep it fresh in your mind, because God is always with you and He is not going to abandon us. But we, foolishly enough, can run away from Him, right? So, I love y'all. God bless y'all. That's the video. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
Said that you don't got the victory over us now. No.
Yeah. All my life they always looked at me like I was perfect.